Hey, sports fans, PBC Sports Chaos. We're back once again. It's Mother's Day weekend. Happy Mother's Day to the moms out there. We love you all. My mom, my wife who's a mom, my daughter who's a mom. Love yous. All right. Hey, fans, don't forget, like us on Facebook. Go to our YouTube page and subscribe. And by the way, we will be doing some more IGs live in the coming weeks as soon as Z can figure out how to record it. All right. This week, PB, you got a drink for us?
Yeah, drinking some Delray Beach Screaming Reels.
Again? Oh!
What? My favorite beer down here. I can't get enough of this stuff. So I'm cracking one of these on a Saturday afternoon here.
All right.
In Florida. I've
got what I've now named the Stoli Bull. My Stoli and Red Bull going on. You need a little energy today.
All right. Like it.
Hey, this week we're going to give you our NFL previews, division by division. Now the schedule came out last Thursday night. Today we'll start with the NFC East. We'll talk about that momentarily. But first, we have to acknowledge a true legend of the game from Miami, down where PB is Don Shula. The Don of the NFL passed away at 90 years old this week. I, for one, feel that Don Shula, in this age, does not get enough credit for what he accomplished in the game. Let me tell you something, PB. I don't know if you heard about this, but I know we talk about Bill Belichick is the GOAT all the time, but consider these three things. Regular season wins, Belichick, 273, Don Shula, 328. Overall wins, including playoffs, Bill Belichick, 304, Don Shula, 347. And a little DYK for you, Shula, 31 of his 33 years as a head coach, winning record. That's unbelievable. Bill does not have that in his
That is, and what's even more impressive with those numbers is they played 2 less games for most of the time he was coaching.
You're right. Yeah, exactly. Now, Belichick is 6 wins in the Super Bowl. Dandy Don Shula is only 2 wins. He was in 6 Super Bowls. He only won 2 of them, but he did win 2. Hey, I got to ask you a question. Belichick is on record, apparently, as wanting to beat Shula's record all-time wins. What I just said, he's 304 to 347. If you just do simple math, that
4 years.
He has to win 11 games over the next 4 years. He's 68 years old, PB. Given the roster they have, does he have a shot?
Yeah, I mean, if he doesn't do it in 4, he'll do it in 5 or 6. I mean, the guy can probably coach into, he'll be another Tom Coughlin coaching into his 70s, right?
He will be 72 at the earliest, but he could probably do that. I don't know. I don't see it. We'll see. All right. Hey, by the way, I got a question. DYK for you, PB. They actually coached against each other. What is the record? Shula versus Belichick.
Does it include when he was with the Browns too?
That's all it was. It was when he was.
Oh, it was only when he was with the Browns.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if Shula beat him every time.
2-0. You are correct. You got that right.
All right.
2-0. All right. Hey, COVID-19, coronavirus, NBA opened some facilities this week, PB. I can't even believe that's happening. What do you think?
I mean, they're opening facilities. That doesn't mean they're having games and jamming 15,000 fans inside. They're probably going to just get some, get some staff in there, get the places, ready for a potential contingency plan to do something. Maybe do some practicing. We'll see. But
I'll tell you this: the smartest guy right now, NCAA President Mark Emmert, he's come out and said publicly, if the schools are not open, we can't play games. So I kind of agree with him. You can play professional sports without fans because you know what? They're getting paid regardless. But other than that, I don't know. All right. Hey, big fights down your way tonight. UFC 249 in Jacksonville. We got a couple of big fights. Tony Ferguson, winner of 12 straight fight, faces Justin Goliath, I don't know if I pronounced that right. The winner may fight Conor McGregor next. And then you got Henry Cejudo, I believe is how you pronounce it. He defends his title against Dominic Cruz. Cowboy Cerrone, who got whipped by Conor McGregor a few weeks ago, is on the undercard. But one fight not happening includes Jakari Souza, who tested positive for COVID-19 the other day when they showed up for the press conferences. PB, given that, should they fight these fights at all or not?
I mean, obviously, you can't get closer to somebody than you can in a UFC fight, right? So, I mean, it's if they're tested and, you know, then maybe you can go on with it. It is one-on-one. It's not like you're bringing in groups and groups of people. It's so hard to say right now.
All right, so you say they could probably get away with it. All right.
Yeah.
All right, let's get on to it. NFC East preview. PB, give us your thoughts on the NFC East. Take us through it.
Yeah, so I'm going to take you through each team, their schedule, what I think they're going to do in terms of wins and losses, where their final record will be. I'll go in order how I think they're going to finish. I'm going to start with the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys have a pretty easy schedule this year based on previous records. That's because Cincinnati's on there and Washington's on there twice, the two worst.
Third easiest strength of schedule.
So that just drags their strength of schedule right down. But their schedule, if you look at it, it's not super easy. They're playing outside those three teams, which draw that percentage down. They have a pretty tough schedule. They open up at L.A. In the Rams. I think they're going to go into L.A. and win that game. Follow the home game with Atlanta with another W. Then they have to go on the road against Seattle. I'll give them a loss there. Then they come back home for 3 straight. They play Cleveland, the New York Giants, and the Arizona Cardinals. I do believe that they can win all 3 of those games.
Okay.
And then they go to Washington. And that's a win as well. So I got them off to a very hot 6-1 start.
Wow. After
that, they have to go to Philadelphia. Have that as a loss. Then they go to then they come back home and play Pittsburgh. They win that. Then they go at Minnesota, lose, come back and play Washington at home for a win. Then I have them going on a 2-game road trip and losing both. They will lose at Baltimore. And then the following week, as a trap game, I have them losing because the following week they're playing the San Francisco 49ers back in Dallas. I have them losing at Cincinnati. So
I got Cincinnati. Oh!
Looking ahead to San Francisco. So I have them losing to Baltimore and Cincinnati on the road in back-to-back weeks.
Yeah.
But then come back strong and beating the 49ers back home after coming off that 2-game road loss. And then Philadelphia at home, also winning that, and then going into New York and beating the Giants in the final week. So I do have them winning out their final 3 games, which leaves them at an 11-5 record.
All right. So, a couple things about the Cowboys in my mind. So the challenge is they got a new head coach, right? Mike McCarthy, who I think is a decent guy, but he can't be in there in front of his players. We talked about this 2 weeks ago. They got some big losses. They lost Robert Quinn and Byron Jones, Malik Collins, Jeff Heath. But defensively, Trevon Diggs signed in the second round, or drafted in the second round. That's a help. Gerald McCoy and Don Terry Poe on the defensive line. I'm a little concerned that they signed 2 drug addicts. Randy Gregory was already on the team, but he's coming back, hopefully. And Alden Smith, right, who hasn't played in 5 years. So I don't know. But the funniest thing I'm going to say, I'm worried about their offensive line, PB. They're getting older. They lost to center Travis Frederick. They didn't draft a center in the 3rd round from Wisconsin. I forget his name now, but that's where Frederick came from. Wisconsin does a great job on offensive line. But I will say this. I think, believe it or not, skill-wise, and I know our boy Josh will not like this, they may be better than the Chiefs offensively. Yes, they got Mahomes for the Chiefs. He's better than Dak. But the rest of the positions, I think, are much better, especially the running back with Zeke Elliott.
Of course.
And, yes, they have Amari Cooper, but I think CeeDee Lamb is the steal of the draft for them. He's going to be the stud by the end of the year. And now Gallup only has to be the 3rd wide receiver, not the 2nd. That's a huge upside. They took from KC Blake Bell, the Belldozer, as they call him, a tight end who will back up the other Blake Jarwin. I think these guys are going to be pretty good. If the offensive line can hold up, I'm very concerned.
Okay. So do you think my 11-5 prediction is realistic? I mean, that's kind of what you're looking at with the Cowboys this year?
11-5 or 10-6. I think you're right on the money with the games you picked. Losing the Bengals game was something I didn't expect. I think they lose the 49ers game, but God forbid they lose to the Bengals. We'll see.
Yeah, that's the NFL, right? But that's why I just have that trap game, and then they get all fired up because of it and come back and beat San Francisco at home. So
yeah.
All right, so let's move on to the Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia Eagles this year, Vegas has them at 9.5 wins, same as what they have Dallas at 9.5 wins too. So I have Dallas outperforming by a game and a half. Philly, I have underperforming by a game and a half, finishing at 8-8. And here's how that'll happen. I open up strong with a win at Washington, beating the Rams at home and beating Cincinnati at home for a 3-0 start. Then they have a tough little 2-game road trip at San Francisco, at Pittsburgh. I have them losing both of those, coming back and then losing again at home to Baltimore. So there's 3 straight losses for them, putting them at 3-3. After that, they got the Giants at home. I got them winning that. They got Dallas at home. I got them winning that. Then I have them going on the road to the Giants and laying an egg and losing that game.
You have them losing to the Giants on the road?
To the Giants on the road, yes. Then I have them losing to Cleveland on the road in the following week.
Whoa!
But much like the Cowboys dropping a 2-game roads, 2 games in a row, back home for a key game against Seattle and winning that game. Then I have them on the road in Green Bay, losing that, but then coming back home and beating what will be an excellent game to watch. I'm having a feeling it's going to be a great game. New Orleans Saints at Philly late in the year, outdoors. I do have Philly taking that game from New Orleans. Then they go on the road and lose 2 more. At Arizona, dropping that one, and then at Dallas, dropping that one, and then coming home for a final game and winning against Washington. So I got them at 8-8. I do have them dropping a few games in there that you might think they would win, but I'm not seeing them making the playoffs this year.
I would agree. Once again, the NFC East will have, for the 16th consecutive year, a new division winner. There will not be a repeat. You are correct. I think the Cowboys, originally I didn't think they would, but I think the Cowboys will beat the Eagles out. But 8-8, I think 9-7. I don't know. I'm not sure I like that 2-game losing projection you have in the middle of the season there. I'm not sure I agree with that. But here's what I think about the Eagles right now. So they've definitely upgraded a little bit on offense for sure. And not so much because of the kid, Jalen Reagor, the kid they drafted out of TCU.
Yep.
I've seen TCU play. I'm not sure that he's the guy that I think he's going to be. I know he has some speed, so that will help. I think the fact that Deshaun Jackson's going to come back healthy supposedly this year. They made a key trade, Marquise Goodwin, the wide receiver that they made a trade for. I think it's going to be a surprise for them, believe it or not. So I'm looking forward to their offense being good. But Carson Wentz is injury prone. That means Jalen Hurts comes in the game. I think he's going to be an asset for them. I don't know if he gets them to 10-6. I like 9-7. You say 8-8, so we're pretty close. Either way, they still fall second place.
Okay, good. Then we move on to the Giants. Giants, I have them finishing at 6-10. Vegas has them at 6.5 on their under/over, so I have them slightly underperforming there. Opening up at home with a loss to Pittsburgh, going on the road to Chicago and winning in Chicago.
Whoa! On the road in Chicago.
Chicago, Giants take that game. Yes. Yeah.
Are you sure you're drinking beer right now?
Hey, they got to get to 6-10 somehow, right? They got to
win.
All
right. Oh man. Okay.
All right. And they got to, their 6th easiest schedule in the league. But again, that's because they play Washington twice and Cincinnati. Then they got to play at home against San Francisco. Got that as a loss. Then they have to go on the road for 2 straight against the Rams and the Cowboys. They have them losing both of those. So now they're starting off at 1-4 till they come home and play Washington and win that one to go to 2-4. But then 2 straight losses again at Philly and at home against Tom Brady and company and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
TB12.
TB12. So now they're sitting at 2-6. But then they go out and they win 3 in a row in the middle of the season. They win at Washington. They win at home against Philly. And then they go on the road and win at Cincinnati. So that gets them back to 5 wins at that point. Then they have to go on the road to Seattle, loss. Back at home against Arizona, loss. Cleveland at home, I got them winning that one. And then losing the last 2 at Baltimore and, again, home against Dallas. So, all in all, 6-10 record.
Wait a minute. You have them beating Cleveland.
I haven't beaten Cleveland at home.
But you had Philadelphia losing to Cleveland.
Yep, that's the NFL. But Cleveland, they play Cleveland on the road. Philly's got to play Cleveland in Cleveland.
I know. All right.
Giants are playing them at home. I mean, A plus B does not equal C when you start to try to figure out, well, if this team beats this team and this team beats this team, then that means the first team has to crush that other team. That's just not the way it works, right? We know that.
Oh, man. All right. Here's what I'll say about the Giants. Well, first of all, they signed a special teams coach to be their head coach of the team, Joe Judge from the Pats. I don't get that at all, but okay, whatever. Then they signed Jason Garrett as the offensive coordinator. He wasn't doing anything well offensively for the Cowboys. I don't know why the Giants signed him, but okay, they did. Then they went out and they got a tackle, which they desperately need to protect Daniel Jones, who you and I were incorrect with last year when we didn't say he was going to be picked by the Giants 4th last year. But he is turnover prone. I don't know if he's really the answer. They do have Saquon Barkley. They went out and they signed some guys on defense. James Bradbury, a cornerback, $15 million a year. I'm not sure he's worth that. Leonard Williams from the Crosstown Jets. Blake Martinez. I don't know. I'm with you. 6-10 is right on the money.
Okay. And that Cleveland game will be interesting just because it'll be OBJ's return to the Giants, right?
Yeah.
And playing against them. So that should be
fun. Wrap us up with the Redskins.
Vegas has them at 5.5, which I think is very, very optimistic.
Yes.
Redskins right now is being probably the worst team in the NFL.
Tommy, do you agree? Yes, I do.
I can't see him getting past 2 wins this year, and I had to figure out what those 2 wins were going to be.
Oh, let's hear.
So basically, I have them winning the second to last game of the year is at home against Carolina. I have them winning that game despite the potential that Christian McCaffrey will completely go off in that game.
PB, the irony of that whole thing is Ron Rivera, their new head coach, the other team, third team in that division with a new head coach, Ron Rivera goes back and he beats his old team.
Yeah.
Oh, I like it. It. That's a good pick.
I got them winning that. That's a home game. And then I had a pick between either at Detroit or at home against Cincinnati. And, Cincinnati's got to win some games this year. So I think Cincinnati's going to go on the road and beat Washington in Washington. So I picked the Detroit game. When they go into Detroit, they will figure out a way to pull off a win in that game. So I have them winning at Detroit. I have them winning against Carolina at home. And I have them losing the rest of their games. So I got them at 2-14.
Let me ask you a quick question. Does that end Matt Patricia's career at Detroit with that loss?
Well, I don't know if that loss in and of itself ends it, but if Detroit can't figure out a way to get over 500 this year and potentially sniff the playoffs, that could be more like the end of it.
I will say this. Here's my comments on the Redskins. I think Chase Young is going to help them. They'll have probably the second best defensive line behind the 49ers because they got some other studs on that D-line now. So Chase Young's going to go wild for them. But Dwayne Haskins, I am not an Ohio State quarterback fan. I'm going to tell you why, PB. Ohio State quarterbacks in the NFL, going back to Art Schlichter. Remember him?
The gambler?
The gambler, yeah. Then Troy Smith, the Heisman Trophy winner. He did nothing. Braxton Miller, Terrell Pryor, Cardell Jones, who won the first college football playoff championship for them. J.T. Watt. And then now Dwayne Haskins. I don't see them winning with him as their quarterback. I hate to say it. So I'm with you. I think they contend for the number 1 pick next year. And that means, do they draft Trevor?
Yeah, that's interesting. I think at that point, if they have another tank season around 2-14 and have the number 1 pick, it's hard to argue not to.
Woo! All right.
He's the clear number 1. I mean, it's tank for Trevor this year for the teams that suck, right?
Well, the Redskins are in the lead right now. All right, PB. Next week, who are we going to preview? Which division? Let's cross divisions. Let's go over to the AFC and let's move out west. We'll go to the AFC West. AFC West. Oh, yeah. All right.
We'll do the Chiefs, the Las Vegas Raiders, San Diego, or actually LA Chargers have in store for us, and then the maybe improved Denver Broncos as well might fall into that equation. So we'll see.
All right, man. All right. Hey, listen, fans, tune in next week when we talk about this. Casey, Josh, by the way, I got a surprise for you. They will not repeat. But anyways, we'll talk about that next week. Sports fans, PB&C Sports Chaos. Remember, YouTube, Facebook, and you'll see us more on IG very soon. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. Happy Mother's Day, fans.